Hey everyone, Simplistic Rich here, and today I'm going to be doing an altar tour video and showing you the storage I use for everything in my practice and where I keep everything, and I'll be describing what I use in my altar and why I use it. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay guys, this is my altar. So first I will be describing everything I use on top of my altar, and then I'll be going into the storage part of my altar. So for starters, this is my main tarot deck I use every time I do divination. I do have 3 other tarot decks that my mom has passed down to me once I got started in my past. She passed down to me 3 of her tarot cards, tarot decks I mean, 3 of her tarot decks. But this is the one I bought on my own, and I really enjoy this deck the most. It's really aesthetically pleasing, and I just love the imagery in it and the artwork and the whole style. And like in the past I have said, I love that the cover of it is very sacred geometry, because I'm a big fan of sacred geometry. So that was a plus. On top of it, I have a black tourmaline. I think it's really good to build a relationship with your tarot cards by giving them a gift of some sort. That's for the usage and for the to keep them, protected, So that's why I have this black tourmaline crystal on top of it, to keep it protected from any negativity, and it will turn any negative energy into positive energy. So that's why I keep the black tourmaline on top of there. Then below it, I have my mirror book, which is my mirror book. Some witches call it a book of mirrors, but I call it a mirror book. And I use it for recording and writing down everything I have done in my spiritual progression, my spiritual path, to show my progression and to show what I have done and what I have learned and what I want to remember and retain. And below that, I have my dream work book, which I use to record all my dream work, all my dreams, anything having to do with dream work whatsoever. And then I have a picture of Calliope. So if you want to hear more about that, in my very first video I go over that I practice with Calliope. She's a muse of epic poetry and the goddess of elegance. And in front of her I have my offering bowl. Before I started this video, I did a meditation and I gave all my offerings to the earth. So probably tonight I'm going to be leaving more offerings and probably be doing some ritual and probably do some more, maybe do some spell work tonight. But yeah, this is my offering dish, and this is my offering glass. The offering glass is what I use to put water in, and I use the water to keep the as an offering to my ancestors. And this is my amethyst I was meditating with earlier, and every time I meditate, I always meditate with a different crystal, and whenever I'm done meditating, I always put the crystal on my altar for the day, and then the next day I always put it back in my crystal box, which is right there. But yep, and then I have these elemental stones, and these elemental stones I have made actually last week, a day before Litha. So I made these last week, and I'm absolutely in love with these element stones. Absolutely in love with them. So yep, so they symbolize earth, air, fire, and water. And I use myself to represent spirit, because since I contain a spirit, within my own spirit, And then I have this selenite right here, which I use to represent divinity and the divine, magic, I use selenite to really symbolize just like magic and the divine. And then this crystal right here is a peacock ore, is one of the folk names for it. I forgot what the official name of that crystal is, but a nickname a lot of people call it is a peacock ore. And these are both peacock ores, but they do look a little different because they were both mined in 2 different parts of the world. Because when I first started my path on Wicca, I bought a lot of my crystals on Etsy, and I bought from multiple different sellers, and without realizing it, I bought 2 peacock ores, and yeah, so that's how I ended up having 2 peacock ores, and I really like both of them. I really like using this one for my goddess, because it's very circular. You see how it's very circular, like a pregnant stomach, so to represent the mother aspect of the goddess, and just the goddess in general, And this one to represent the god, because I like this one because it's very jagged and it's very, it's just very jagged, you know what I mean? When I think of men, masculinity in general, I think of very jaggedness, very, very pointy, very edged, you know what I mean? So that's why I use that one to represent my god. And obviously, this is my candle holder I use for all my tea lights. And that's my incense holder, which just got done burning of incense. And yeah, that's everything I keep on my altar. And I cleanse my altar every week. I try to cleanse my altar every once a week or every 2 weeks. And when it comes to offerings, sometimes I'll just leave it for a day. If it's a Sabbath, sometimes a week. It really just depends. Like on a full moon, I'll probably do it like the next day after the full moon. It's just very, my offerings, when I give the offerings back to the earth, it just very much depends on what the occasion is and on what I'm trying to do. So next, I'll be showing you my first drawer, which this is where I keep all my tea lights. When I first got this box, there was 125 in here of white tea lights. The red and pink tea lights are not from this box. They were just tea lights I had laying around, so I added them to this box. Then outside of that is my altar oil I used to clean my altar, which I got from Etsy. And I got this, which is my tortoise oil, which is by the company Sun's Eye. And I got this from a metaphysical shop I live by, and I use this for meditation. And I also use this for dressing candles. Like on Letha, I use this to dress a Letha candle, and then I put what did I put on? I put rose and chamomile on the candle. I used a white taper candle though, not a white tea light. And then right here, I have some extra sage, and this is just an empty bag. And then here I got some sage incense, which I got from Five and Below, which I like these, I really do, but I don't know. Sometimes they smell like really, really bad. And then I have tons of these lavender incense. I have like 4 of these lavender incense, because obviously you guys know lavender incenses are my favorite incense. And then I have this bag of Bird of Paradise, which is my absolutely favorite incense I ever got. This was one of the first incense I've ever got, and it's a really good one. And I only have one left, so I'm looking for a good occasion to use this. So maybe I'll use this sometime soon, maybe for like a dedication or something of the sorts. And then I also have this big ass bag of incense that I got from different sellers on Etsy, and some of them are from the metaphysical shop by my house. And I think that is all the incenses I have. Oh no, and I do have another bag full of these tranquility incenses, which you can find at Five and Below as well. I really like these bags they give you for it too, because they show you how to light incense, and they give you all these directions, and this is really cool. And then I wrote down tranquility, so I remembered what type of incense they were, in case I want to go back and buy more. And then over here, I have a bag of herbs, and I got this bag when I first started my path a year ago. And this came from an Etsy store, and it sold starter kits. So it gave you like 1 to 41 different types of herbs as your starter kit. And I think I picked like 10 or 15. I think I may have picked like 15. I have used up 2 of the bags, so I need to restock on black pepper, and what's the other one I need to restock on? Angelica wood, but I have restocked Angelica wood. But yeah, these are all the starter incense I got. And back here is bags of pieces of Palo Santos that I can no longer use because it burns my hand. So I'm trying to figure out what I could use these for. Maybe grind them up and use them for loose herb incense or something like that. And then I have a purple candle, which I still haven't used. It's kind of dusty. I need to clean it a little bit. But I haven't found a good occasion to use this yet. So, that's just sitting back there. And then I have a feather over here, too. And I think that's it for this drawer. And I have this bag of, enchantment oil, but I never use this because this is just so messy, and I honestly think I'm gonna throw this out because it's really messy and it's just a mess. It's a complete mess. And yeah, that's all I have for that drawer. And then the next one down here, I have all of my DIY balls I made. I told you guys, dude, I made tons of these DIY balls. I have 2 more back there. But yeah, I made tons of these DIY balls. I use it to keep all my herbs. I keep Palo Santos in here, rose, tons of other different herbs I keep in here. I have my black salt in here too, and I have, you know, tons of other herbs. And I think only 2 of them aren't filled up. So all these ones back here are all filled up besides these 2 right here. And over here I have extra empty bags I can use for sachets or anything I want to use them for, like crystals or sachets or anything of the sorts. I have those. And then right here, this is my bag of wounds, which these are my mom's wounds she passed down to me. So, yep, I keep those in that bag. And then below that, I have a black mirror, which I haven't used for. I haven't used at all because I've been busy with other forms of divination like wounds and tarot. But I definitely want to use my black mirror soon in the future. Oh, and also this is my smoky quartz I keep in here to protect my crystals. So I always keep a smoky quartz on top of my tarot cards. I mean, not on top of my crystals. This is a smoky quartz I always keep on top of my tarot cards to keep them protected. And then over here is 1 taper candle. This pack came with 2 white taper candles, but I used the other one for my Letha candle, so I only have 1 more left. So I'll probably use that for the next Sabbat, or maybe some other type of spell work. Who knows? And that's all I have for the storage down there. I think so. Yep, that's all I have for the storage down there. And then beside me over here, I keep this jar, which I use to pour all my ashes in or any extra herbs I have left over from spell work. And if I like take apart any of my sachet spells, then I always pour it into here, and then I give it as an offering to my goddess and god. And I I just pour it outside, and I let the ashes symbolize my progression through my path and the things I have learned. And then over here, I have my Nagachampa incenses, which I always keep in this bottle, which is a vintage antique milk bottle. So I keep all my Nagachampa incense in there. And then, like I already showed you, I also have some extra bottles of back there. And yeah, so that's that's my whole altar, guys. And I also have some of my moon water over there. I have one of my spell balls that are in working. And I also have a bottle of all my because the way I do tarot readings for myself is I always write it down before I do the tarot reading. So every piece of paper in here is all the tarot readings I've done since the beginning of my path. And yeah, I always write them down. I always write down the cards I get. I make sure to write down the day that I did the reading on so I can look back on it. And this is my Modern Pestle, another sachet spell that is currently in working. Some of my crystals I have. Most of my crystals I have. And like I said, that's moon water. And this is a sachet bed, a sachet bag I made for Dreamwork to protect me and to help me have really poetic dreams and to protect me and all that. And then over here I have my mala beads, which I always keep over here, and I always keep a clear quartz inside to keep it nice and purified and charged. And yeah, and these are the paintbrushes I use for like all my DIY projects. But yeah, that's my altar, guys. And like I said, I'm absolutely in love with these elemental stones I made. I think I did such a good job on them. And I painted them just using freehand. I'm not a huge painter. I'm not a painter by any means. So for me to be able to make these is like a huge achievement. And I'm so happy with them. And these rocks, too, came from the dollar store. So these aren't like expensive, stones or anything like that. They just came from the dollar store. I use them in this potted plant right here. I have tons of those black rocks, and I got the idea, so I found 4 that I liked that were all similar sizes, and I made those. So yeah, That's my altar, guys. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and blessed be.